My name is Dr. Mohammad Zishan Sabar, and I am currently working as an associate professor in a surgical ward. Today's topic of presentation for this final year surgery lecture from the surgical department is central line placement and its care. In today's presentation, what we will be discussing on the certain areas that how to pass a central line. We will be discussing its different steps and then care of the central line in terms of that how to change the dressing of the central line, how to administer the IV fluids through the central line, how to flush a central line, and what do you mean by HAPLOC, and at the end a little bit deviation from the main topic, but a very important area related to this area is the care of the peripheral line. For example, we have passed a Brandla in periphery, in periphery like hand or like forearm, and what should be the proper care of this line, which is called as a peripheral line. So first of all, we will start how to pass a central line. First step of passing a central line of its preparation, and among preparation, the first step is how to position. This is the one of the four most important step of passing a central line. A proper position will make a central line very easy. So among position, one should move the head of the bed away from the wall by moving the stretcher away from the wall. Elevate the head and elevate the bed to a comfortable position at which level you can work easily for the central line. Place a patient in a Trendelenburg position, in which is a head set down, so that the veins in the head and neck area should get engorged. We should remove the headboard from the stretcher and then slide the patient up to a maximum level, and then turn the neck to the left side or to the opposite side to which the central line is to be planned. So after this positioning, first of all, scan the internal jugular vein by using an ultrasound probe in this area, and then a very important step for every procedure, check your trolley that you have all the necessary equipment before starting the procedure, and then go for the procedure. Central line is a procedure in which one have to go for scrubbing, gowning and gloving. It's not a simple procedure in which you can simply go in and wear any sort of gloves and start doing the procedure. You have to undergo scrubbing, gowning and gloving, followed by paint and drape of the patient. So it should be a proper protocol for performing a central line insertion procedure. Then hold the line which is to be inserted and flush all the line ports with heparinized solution. Identify the vein with the help of the ultrasound again, and then inject local anesthesia in the vicinity in which you are going to inject the central line. You are going to insert the central line. Then with the help of the ultrasound guidance, pierce the vein with the needle which is attached to the string, and a negative pressure is applied. So the plunger is being pulled which is attached to the syringe, and the needle is piercing into the vein. Once the needle is inside the vein, aspirate small amount of blood to confirm that you are inside the vein, and then remove the syringe from the needle and insert the guide wire into the needle, and after inserting the guide wire into the needle, remove the needle and dilate the tract over the guide wire using a dilator. Slide the catheter over the guide wire up to the desired length, which is already measured, or it is already finalized for certain positions, that if you are inserting, if you are using internal jugular vein, then this much length should be inside. If you are using a subclavian vein, then this much length should be inside. So you should know freehand how much length should be inserted into the vein. And then at the end, flush all the lumens with heparinized solution and fix the catheter with skin and apply a sterile dressing. So this is how a central line is passed. This is a procedure of central line of internal jugular vein. So there are certain minor differences when you pass a catheter into a central vein like a subclavian vein or like a femoral vein. So this is a YouTube video which you can see in order to have a better explanation of all these steps which I have discussed with you earlier. And this video is also telling you that what are the minor differences if you use the subclavian vein or if you use the femoral vein for a central line insertion. The next step is how to change the dressing of a central line. Very important area. A lot of patients in our wards, they are having the central line, and we need to properly dress the central line, and we need to properly change the dressing of the central line after fixed time of intervals, so that the infection of the central line should have a minimal risk. So central venous dressing of central venous catheter dressing should be changed after every 7 days. If you are using a transparent dressing, it is a standard teaching that if you are using a central venous catheter, then the dressing should be a transparent one. But if the insertion site is oozing, then you can use a gauze dressing with tape. And if you are using this type of dressing, then this dressing should be changed after 48 hours. It should not be changed after 7 days. And these are the fixed guidelines of 48 hours and 7 days. But the change of the dressing can be an early event if the dressing becomes wet or loose, if the dressing is no longer in contact, or if the dressing becomes bloody or contaminated. In these cases, then the dressing should be changed earlier. What should be the steps of change of dressing? One should wash his hand with antimicrobial soap or chlorhexidine for 15 seconds and air dry them. And then in some areas people say that you can wear some clean gloves. It should not be a sterile glove. You can wear a clean glove and then carefully loosen and remove the old dressing. Peel the dressing towards the site without pulling on the CVC. If there is a central line catheter at this point, so it should be peeled towards the site. We should not be removing from this side. It should be removed towards the site without pulling on the central venous catheter. Never use scissors. This may cut the catheter as well. Inspect the area around the insertion site for any ooze, or look for any abnormality in this area. And again wash your hand again with your antibacterial soap or chlorhexidine, and then air dried, and now use the sterile gloves. Apply antiseptic swab around the insertion site for 30 seconds and let it air dry. Apply the transparent dressing. Label this dressing with date, time and your initials. So this is how a dressing of a central line should be changed. These are two YouTube videos which will be available to you. So you can see these videos in order to have a better visualization of the steps which I have discussed with you regarding the change of dressing of central line. So next step is how to administer IV fluids in a central line. There is a central line inserted, and you have to attach ringer lactate, you have to attach microburate, or you have to attach a normal saline. So what should be the procedure of administering IV fluids to the central line? So the first step is to wash your hands with alcohol for 15 seconds and let them air dried. Wipe then take the alcohol swab in your hand and then wipe the connection of this previous strip with the central line with the help of alcohol swab for 5 seconds, and then clean it thoroughly. And while cleaning it, remove this connection, take a new one and make a new connection of the new drip set. Any particular material on the luer lock or luer connector of the catheter lumen, if seen during this procedure, should be cleaned with alcohol chlorhexidine prior to the connection of new lines. So this is how an IV fluid should be attached with the central line in a patient who is admitted in ward with having a central venous catheter in place. Third care of a central line is how to flush the central line. First of all, when to flush the central line and how to flush a central line. So when to flush a central line: flush each lumen once a day or after completion of each infusion. So at least once a day, each lumen of the central line should be flushed, and it should be flushed with 3 to 10 cc of heparin solution. Heparin solution should be prepared with the strength of 100 units of heparin per cc, and you can use 20 ml if the thick solution is given through the central line. So how to flush a central line? This is also called as an hep lock. So how to flush the central line? Again, wash the hands with chlorhexidine for 15 seconds and let them air dried. Prepare the heparin solution of strength which is already discussed, and separate. It should be a separate syringe for each lumen to be flushed. Again, take an alcohol swab, rub the cap or the connection of the central line with the drip set with alcohol swabs, rubbing vigorously for 15 seconds and then allow them to dry. Hold the end of the catheter so it does not touch anything. Open the clamp on the lumen and don't touch the infusion hub directly. Remove the cap from the cannula and needle and insert into the injection cap. Slowly inject the entire amount of heparin into the lumen of catheter. If you meet the resistance, check to see if the clamp is closed. If there is no still resistance, do not flush the lumen. Call the doctor. Hold on. Call some senior doctor. Clamp the doctor as you are finishing the injection. Repeat all the above steps for each lumen to be flushed using a clean syringe to flush each catheter. So this is how a single lumen of each of the central line is flushed, and by this method each catheter of the central line should be flushed. This is a YouTube video again. This will show you how to flush a central line with the heparin solution and how to do a hep lock, and will give you a more visual or pictorial presentation of the steps which I have discussed with you earlier. Then a little bit deviation from the main topic. Main topic was about the central line, but I want to discuss a little bit on the peripheral line, which we call as the Brenla in a routine term. What should be the care of this peripheral line or a Brenla in our general surgical or in our wards. So one should consider a peripheral venous access if required for less than 6 days. If you want a venous access of less than 6 days duration, then you should consider a peripheral line. But if you want a venous access for more than 6 days, then you should consider a central venous access. Or peripheral line should be inserted in upper extremity in first preference. Second option should be an external jugular vein. Lower limb veins should not be used for peripheral venous access. Avoid pre and post operative sites, areas that are edematous, injured or inflamed, or same site of potential mastectomy. These are the areas that should be avoided for peripheral venous access. 20 gauge or less Brenla should be used, and patient should have only one IV access until specifically asked. Remove the peripheral IV access only if it is more than of 96 hours duration, date is not written on the dressing, and site is painful to the patient. Sterile transparent dressing should be done showing date, time and initials, and should be done after every 48 hours. Change the dressing more frequently if soaked, loose contact or contaminated, and flush the catheter 8 hourly with 2 cc normal saline as well. Thank you very much.